Hello, people. It is your good friend Chad Marco here again with episode 2 of the Original Content Movement Botcast. I'm sorry I haven't been up to date with these. It's crazy, man. Like, I haven't been working on a lot of music. What I've been doing is I've been like working out and going to the library a lot. Like, I'll wake up, watch an episode of anime while warming up, run to the library, read for an hour, then do like 200 push-ups and run back home and then eat and get on 4chan and watch like a horror movie or something. And then I'm too tired to do anything and I end up passing out. So I'm sitting here just buff as fuck, and just not working on my projects and shit. But now I'm starting to get back into the flow. Now I've kind of gotten my sort of my diet, my workout, and reading. I've gotten that. I've gotten into that flow. Like, now it's so embedded, and now it's just a matter of combining that with actually being productive as far as like my music projects and the podcast and all that stuff. So that's why it kind of took me a while, because I've been really going deep within myself and doing some soul searching and just a lot of meditating and thinking about what I want to do with myself and my priorities and things like that. And it's been such a process, and just trying to gather myself so I can move forward. And I'm so glad that you guys are with me alongside me for this ride. But without further ado, let's get to the second episode of the Original Botcast, shall we? Now, this episode is called Beware the Digital Succubus. Yes, because basically it's going to be about I'm going to kind of go over my thoughts on this new hidden threat to mankind that is not only pornography but e-thoughts and like streamer whores and all that shit. Just all these fucking just the distraction of sex in the flesh and whatnot. But of course, like I always start off with the news. Yeah, so now, I don't know how interested you guys are in this or are in sports in general, but recently I've really been into watching basketball, more specifically the NBA league within America. And if you haven't realized or known yet, just a couple weeks ago, Toronto or Canada, they won the NBA finals. Can you fucking believe it, man? And it's crazy to me because I was talking to a friend, and this was right before Toronto beat Golden State. And I'm not really some type of basketball savant. I'm not, like, my basketball IQ is very low. Like, I've just now recently, like, this was the first time I ever watched an entire season of basketball from the fucking summer league to the finals. And still, I don't really understand all the intricacies and who the best player. Like, I know, like, the best players, but then it's like the sort of like second rank and third rank downward. Like, I don't really know like teams up and down. So I didn't realize that Toronto really had a chance to win this thing. And my friend, he told me like straight up, like, bruh, like Golden State, they're gonna lose. Like, I could not believe it. Like, I'm way on the Golden State bandwagon. I'm like, yo, Golden State is about to crush Canada, man. Like, this is it. What is he talking about? But just like he said, man, because he straight up said, yo, Kawhi Leonard he is just a bigger superstar than Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry is a good shooter, but he's not like the man the way I always want to call him Kawhi Leonard, the way Kawhi Leonard is. And just like he said, man, and even like the from the other players on the Toronto Raptors that he mentioned, like how they really just have a well-balanced good team. And of course, Golden State, Kevin Durant, he was hurt. His Achilles was popped wide open, and Klay Thompson, he was battling with injury, and Stephen Curry is always kind of he's always been iffy in the finals. Like, he's never been the type who could just take over in the finals, you know what I mean? So he's not really that guy. So Draymond Green was balling out of control, but I could not believe it. And as the series progressed, and I started to realize like Toronto was probably about to take this, I was so mad because I was like, yo, this is not good. Like, because Canada is gonna talk so much shit about us. Like, they're never gonna let us hear the end of it. But I gotta say, man, bravo to Kawhi Leonard. It is amazing how this man he gets traded to Toronto. Obviously does not want to be there. Who the fuck wants to be traded to Toronto? This man's wanted to go to LA his whole life, and he gets traded to Toronto, and he gets them a fucking ring. Like, the 1 year he's there, he's like, all right, I'll get y'all a ring. He gets them a ring. Man, it's really... And I hang out on the sports board every now and then, and it's amazing to me how overall Kawhi Leonard is so much more than LeBron James. Because like LeBron James is kind of for the past years, or really since he's been playing for the longest time, he's been considered by most to be the best basketball player in the league. But it seems like his fan, like the amount of people that like him and hate him tend to be equal. Like, he has a huge fan base, but also a huge base of haters. But with Kawhi Leonard, it's like everybody loved this guy, man, and that's just what's really so amazing about this to me, is like this accomplishment. And just and then the fact that now that it's all over, people were speculating that he might go to the Lakers and team up with LeBron and create a Super Saiyan team. And even then, he just shits on all those dreams and says, no, I'm going to LA, but I'm going to the Clippers, and teams up with Paul George. And yeah, man, Kawhi Leonard is just he is the man right now. He already had a ring with the Spurs, and now he just straight up got Canada a ring out of nowhere. Like, who would have ever thought? Man, but I don't know if I'm going to continue to watch basketball, because, like I said, this was the first time I really paid attention to the whole season. And I don't even play basketball. I hated basketball in gym. I always sat out and just sat on the side and just soaked. But for some reason, I've just been more interested in it. I think it's in a way, basketball is kind of like anime in a way, because you have the main characters like LeBron James and Stephen Curry, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Greek Freak, etc. Then you have the guys on the side commentating the actual games, and then there's drama, there's rivalries, there's friendships, and I think that's really why I've kind of taken a like into basketball. I think, to me, it's probably the most easily digestible sport. Yeah. And on top of that, I'm watching Slam Dunk. So, but that's about all I got to say about the NBA Finals. I don't know how much you guys actually into that, but it was actually pretty big for Kawhi Leonard to get Canada a chip, man. Okay, now, next. Oh, man. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be sad. I'm going to be real with you guys, because I never heard of this motherfucker before in my life. Of course, I'm talking about Etika's suicide. Now, Etika was a Twitch streamer who, from what I researched, he did he would stream video games and reaction videos where he would kind of exaggerate his reactions to new technology and media, because that's really that's a big thing on YouTube. YouTube and Twitch personalities to do now. It's all about like reaction videos. Like a new game comes out, they record themselves reacting to the trailer, and it's just exaggerated shit, man. I hate to say it, but people eat that shit up, man. Like, maybe I'm in the wrong line of business. Maybe I need to stop doing music and start needing to reacting to fucking shit, like stuff I'm probably not even gonna buy. But that was his whole thing. Like, he was really like one of the what seems to be many like cool black anime video game guys that are like just filled with like awesome personality and energy, kind of like low tier god for like the fighting game community. Just a nice handsome black guy with like great energy that people can relate to because of our shared interest in like nerdy shit. Yeah, that's basically like his whole thing, Twitch streamer, video game, anime black guy with a crazy fade, a crazy hot top fade, like Play from Kid and Kid from Kid and Play. But yeah, this guy, he killed himself. Now it's been maybe a week or two now that I'm making this video. He committed suicide by jumping off of a bridge, I believe. And, they were looking for his body for a while and they ended up finding it. And they confirmed that, yes, it was Etika. I think his name is Desmond Afas Amofso Deflos. I forgot his last name, but it's his online nickname was Etika. He was 29 years old, and yeah, he committed suicide. And like I said, I don't know this guy. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like, oh no, Etika. Like, I had no idea who this guy was, but he was all over R9K. So I was like, oh, let me dig into this and see, what this guy was about. So I just checked out a few of his videos, but in particular, his suicide video, man. And it's crazy because looking at him, like, when I first saw pictures of him, I was like, okay, he's just like a buff, nerdy type dude. Then I heard him talk, and like he has like this he's articulate. He sounds intelligent. He sounds like he has his shit together, and it kills me. Like, how, like, what drives people like this to kill themselves? There's nothing about the way that he speaks or carries himself that would make you think that he would actually like commit suicide or anything like that. And I would consider him to be a success in really a lane that I'm trying to break into, like cool anime black guy. And it kind of scares me a little bit because it's like he succeeded at it. Like, he is a success story as far as like people who try to get into, YouTube and Patreon and Twitch and all that shit. Like, he's a success story who managed to make a living off of this shit, and something like he still ends up killing himself. It's still not enough, and shit like that just scares me, man. And even in the video, he was like I was not suicidal. Like I didn't think of suicide. Like, he said like he wasn't even thinking about suicide, and now all of a sudden he just kills himself. And like I said, that shit just scares me, man, because right now I know I don't want to kill myself. I know I'm not suicidal. My life is far from perfect. I got a lot of bullshit going on, but damn it, like, I feel like I'm in it for the long haul. I want to live to be 100, but it's like, dude, it's crazy how quickly things can change, man, and how you can go from loving life and being a success and just like tossing yourself off of a fucking bridge, man. And I was just listening to like the things he was saying in his last video, man. Like, how he was talking about how he made so many mistakes and he made poor choices and how he was trying to be edgy and stuff like that. Like, I don't know exactly what he meant as far as like his choices or whatnot. There was that one video where he got swatted and they arrested him, and one guy in a thread, he kind of speculated that maybe like he was just embarrassed about all that, and that was just one of the things that might have drove him to kill himself. But overall, I don't know. I don't know a lot about this dude. I don't know what he was going through. It's just that the fact that he's kind of, I see shades of myself within him, like cool anime black guy. Hey, and it's like, and then he says like, don't get too caught. Like he said, like, don't get too caught up in the social media shit. And, and like I said, as someone who's involved in social media, I have to think about these things because, I see the same thing with like Eggman. Like he was just so into the social media shit and the Twitch and the Twitter and, I'm rapping and I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And then out of nowhere, he just falls apart. Like Eggman falls apart like twice a year. But yeah, man, it scares someone like me because I feel far from suicidal. I've been there. I've been in the mental hospital. I've been there, but I couldn't imagine going back now. Like that's how far gone I am from that place. And that's why it really worries me. And, I think that we all should sort of like, if we take anything from this, is even if you are comfortable with where you are mentally, like, just like, dude, like, just dig a little bit deeper. Like, try a little bit harder, like whatever flaws or whatever you're trying to fix or whatever you think you need to do or change, like get on it. Cause it can just look at how quick it happened with him, man. He straight up said he was not suicidal. And that's what scared me the most because I thought, when I watched that video, I thought he was going to just say like, man, I couldn't take it, man. I've been balling it up for years. I know you thought I was happy, but I was really, no, like he was like, it just came out of nowhere, bro. Like, just poor choices just added up on top of each other. And it's like, I gotta go, But, and then I'm sitting here like what was it specifically that drove him to commit suicide? Hold on, let me get a sip of water. What was it specifically that drove him to commit suicide? And again, I'm analyzing this video and he's saying like mistakes and choices and whatnot. But what was it? Like, that's what I want. Like, what was the straw that broke the camel's back? Because in the threads that I lurked, it seemed like a lot of people just blamed me. Oh, it was just mental illness. It was depression. He was schizophrenic, but the way he described it, it didn't seem like it was just like I'm gonna just kill. It was like something happened. Like the way he said specifically, like choices that he made and, consequences for your actions, and words have weight. Like, listen to what he's saying. It sounds like something happened, bro. Like something happened and he didn't want to deal with it. Like maybe because he did get arrested like a little while before that when he got swatted. So maybe he thought maybe he was going to go to jail or I don't know, but I feel like it's gotta be more than just like mental illness type shit. I gotta be honest, bro. I'm not trying to say like conspiracy, but something had to spook the fuck out of him for him to just want to kill. Just listening to him, he don't sound like he's crazy like that to just do it for no reason, or even for like cumulative. I don't know how to say that word. I'm trying to sound smart, but like it just doesn't sound like stacked up depression that was bottled up within him finally coming. It's the way he described it just sounded like something happened, but I don't know, man. Rest in peace, rest in peace, Etika. May the rest of us cool black anime guys keep the dream alive. Oh yeah. All right. So what's next? Okay, so last bit of news. Gotta talk about this. And I hate to promote this fucking thought. Nah, but now I don't even know how to pronounce her name. I think it's Belle Delphine. I don't know. I haven't heard anyone say her name out loud. But I'm assuming it's Belle Delphine. That's the way it looks. Delphine? Whatever. But anyway, Belle Delphine is a ETHOT, a professional ETHOT. I believe she's 19 years old, and really she's just a part of this new wave of young girls sort of promoting themselves on social media, usually by, posting like sexual pictures, like cleavage, or just like little cutesy stuff. Like it can range from like PG-13 to X-rated, but she's a special one because she's one of the, I wouldn't say few, but what makes her so special is that she's built up such a huge following and makes so much money, and she hasn't even revealed a single tit. Like she has, oh man, this girl has just mastered the game. I mean, she has managed to make more money than probably like hardcore porn stars who are like sucking 4 dicks at the same time, doing double anal, getting fucked by black guys, and licking toilets and escorting on the side, and they still not breaking the bank like this girl, man. Like she is making real bank. Like she has perfected the ETHOT occupation. I mean, she is the goddess of ETHOTs. She is so amazing. Like she is just, I mean, cause look, I know I've seen her posted all over R9K and other 4chan boards, and a lot of people are upset. Like people are mad at this girl because she is making so much money just doing like little like risque, just cute, just showing off a little skin there, a little skin here, but not going all the way, like not to the point of like putting dildos up her ass or anything like that. And she's just making mad money, and guys are just throwing the cash at her, and people are mad. Like people are really hating on this girl because she is making so much money off of her beta orbiters. But man, I gotta be real with y'all. I gotta say it, man. Like motherfuckers need to stop hating. Motherfuckers need to stop hating. And here's why, man. Like here's my first take on this, man. It's like people are, for one, mad that she got it easy. And then this is really a common thing I've been seeing, like from a lot of guys. Like guys talk about girls got it so easy, they get sex so easy, they get dates so easy, so easy, so easy. It's like, so what? Like, dude, what, you want them to have it hard? Like, man, the way I feel, man, is like life is just so fucked up. Life is so hard sometimes, and I'm glad somebody got it easy. I'm glad somebody can just fucking show a little bit of skin or do little cute videos on TikTok and make thousands of dollars on Patreon. I'm glad these hoes do. Cause it's like I said, life is it's so hard, man. I think for real, a lot of guys, man, like we got to get out of that fucking crab in the bucket mentality where it's like, just because we got it so tough, like we don't want somebody else to have it easy. Like that's my first take on it. I think God, like, yeah, I get it. It's insane how much money she's making for such little work and whatnot. But dude, it's like, it's really no different than being mad at somebody for winning the lottery, dude. Like, it's like, come on. Like, I get it, and a lot of people in the thread have said the same thing I'm about to say now, but the people to be mad at is not the girl, it's the fucking beta orbiters, dude. It's the fucking beta males who are throwing money at her. That's the fucking problem, man. It's the dudes who just throwing the fucking cash at the chick, dude. That's it. I mean, she just taking advantage of the situation, dog. She just doing what she do. She just doing what girls do. What girls have done since the beginning of time. Fuck over men since Adam and Eve. She's just doing what girls do. There's no point being mad at her because she just cashing in on desperate dudes that are just just happy to just have the opportunity. I mean, and that shows how bad it is, bro. It's so bad out here that dudes are like they're just happy to be able to not even touch a girl or talk to a girl, but just to be able to support her financially from thousands of miles away. That's how bad it's gotten, bruh. Like, come on, this shit is bad. Like, we gotta tighten up as beta males, omegas, robots, wizards, whatever the fuck you are, wherever you stand, incel. We gotta tighten up, like, cause really, I've come to realize like we are really the problem. Like well, not me. I ain't in this shit, but you know what I mean. Like these fucking. Like, we can talk shit about women all day and how they manipulate and how they got it easy, but all that shit only works because men allow it, because the beta males are throwing money at her. And the craziest thing about it, and because recently she's been pulling like some crazy stunts. Like, she made a Pornhub profile and didn't really post, like, she didn't post any porn. She just posted like really, they were all like just plays on words, like saying like, oh, BBC, I forgot exactly the little, but they were all like joke videos, like kind of implying that it would be hardcore porn, but it was really just like her like just doing like it was basically like a big prank thing. You know, she made a Pornhub just to make like little stupid videos and make guys think that she was gonna actually like do some explicit stuff, and she didn't. And I'm sure that just helped put more money in her pocket. Like, some guys were upset. I'm sure her hardcore fans even like that. But all that did was create more publicity for her. Probably got her more beta orbiters, more Patreon supporters and whatnot. And if we thought that wasn't enough, she went so far as to sell her bathwater. This girl is selling her damn bath water, dude. And some people have kind of estimated that she might have made like $15,000 off of that shit already. Like, it's sold out. I mean, I thought, because I always saw that picture of the girl who sold her shit that was stuffed inside Twinkies and it said it was sold out. I thought that was crazy, but I mean, at least that's like, as gross as it is, like, at least that's like something out of her. Like, at least you're getting like actual like a straight chunk of like bodily fluid. This is gross. But this is just, you don't even know if she really like got into fucking bath. Like, you don't even know if it's really her bath water. She could just fill those fucking cups with damn sink water and just shipped it off, man. That's but it's sold out. This is a sign. This is no reason to be mad at her. I thank her, because she is exposing motherfuckers. She is exposing just how pathetic men have become. That's all we need to thank her. We need to fucking thank this bitch, because all she has done is expose like just how pathetic some men have gotten, man. It's like, God, it's just sad, bruh. It's just sad, man. And that's really why part of the reason why I made this episode, man, is why I call it Beware the Digital Succubus, because, you know, it's easy to avoid real life women because they don't want nothing to do with us anyway. But the real trap is the girls online. Everything from the cam whores to the porn and the e-thoughts and whatnot, the Belle Delphines of the world, the Instagram models and all that. Like, they're just distractions, bro. And we're just propping them up like one view at a time, one Patreon supporter at a time, $1 at a time, $5, $15. Like, this shit's gotta stop, you know? I think back to a video that Low Tier Guy did like maybe a few years ago, and he was just really criticizing guys for propping up these cosplay girls who kind of take advantage of the community of men who are into these characters. You know, they dress up as these characters and try to build up a fan base just to profit off of the guys that are into it. It's like, you're not gonna get anything out of it. You're not gonna. She's like, all you gonna do is look at her, and you're just throwing money and time and attention her way. Whoop-de-damn, dude. Like, and that's just, it's gotta stop. It's not gonna stop, but at least like we over here, you know, on R9K or whatever, like we can stop. Like we can stay away from that shit. You know, and that's the best I can do, is just try to warn guys, like, don't fall into that trap. Don't fall into that fucking thirst trap, man. Like, build yourself up. Don't build up some hoe just because she's pretty, bro. Like, that shit gotta stop. Like, if you're gonna support somebody's Patreon, support somebody that's doing like somebody that's actually, like, at least someone that's like drawing porn. At least to support the guy that's doing furry porn, you know? Support something that someone is actually like doing something, not just showing off their skin or profiting off of their fucking genetic superiority. You know, that's all I ask, dude. Stay the fuck away from the Ethot game. And that is the news for today. What's next? Okay, next we're gonna have a little bit of original music. I will be back with Book Time, new segment. Stay tuned.
I was getting over you, made me feel so blue, and you me, crazy psycho, you're my girl. Getting over you, made me feel so blue, and you blew me into another. Out of this world, together.
Okay, that was Psycho Girl by Glitch. I found that little song in one of the creative threads on R9K. I chose that song because that's the kind of guy I want to work with. Like I want to combine like my style, like my hip hop rap feel style, with like a singer, like a guy that can kind of sing and maybe do like a hook and like really do like some real like guitar shit that I can sample or whatever. But just combine it. So I'm definitely like gonna try to find somebody like that I can kind of collaborate with and maybe do like more complex songs with. But yeah, that was our boy Glitch. Now this is a new segment that I thought of. One of my goals this year, because I wrote a list of goals when the new year rolled around, and one of my goals was to read 30 books, at least 30 books before the end of the year. And so I've been going to the library a lot more, and one of the books that I've read was The Courage to Be Disliked. And with this segment is just gonna be like me talking about books that I'm reading and any little like words of wisdom or interesting information that I managed to get out of it. Now it's gonna be a little sloppy because while really all I did was, while I was at the library, if I saw a page that I thought had something interesting on it, then I would just like take a picture of it with my phone. And I'm just gonna read like various pages that I thought were interesting and try to remember like what I thought was actually interesting about it and talk about it a bit. So this is gonna be kind of an educational segment. So skip this shit if you don't want to learn anything. Let me get a sip. But yeah, this book is called The Courage to Be Disliked, and it's I guess you could call it like a self-improvement book. It's written in an interesting way. It's written like as a conversation between a philosopher and a student. The student comes to the philosopher and they're kind of sharing ideas and debating about what's the proper way to live life and be happy. And I think the book was actually it was written in Japan. I think it has a Japanese author. I forgot the author, so excuse me on that. But I think it was actually written in Japan and translated to English. Because they even mention things like neats in the book. So yeah. And man, the philosopher is kind of like he's sort of, I guess you could say that he's kind of expressing the author's thoughts, the whole philosophy of the courage to be disliked. And the student is supposed to be the one that's arguing against it. Like he's coming from like sort of a more negative, pessimistic perspective. I mean, he really reminds me of some of the guys that you would see on 4chan or on IK. But yeah, let's get right into it. I'm gonna see if I can pull up some of these interesting pages here. Okay, so this page said, okay, youth. So they reveal their feeling of inferiority and use it to their advantage. Philosopher. Yes, they use their misfortune to their advantage and try to control the other party with it. By declaring how unfortunate they are and how much they have suffered, they are trying to worry the people around them, their family and friends, for example, and to restrict their speech and behavior and control them. The people I was talking about at the very beginning who shut themselves up in their rooms frequently indulge in feelings of superiority and use misfortune to their advantage, so much so that Adler himself pointing out, in our culture, weakness can be quite strong and powerful. So weakness is powerful, says the youth. Philosopher. Adler says, in fact, if we were to ask ourselves who is the strongest person in our culture, the logical answer would be the baby. The baby rules and cannot be dominated. The baby rules over the adults with his weakness, and it's because of this weakness that no one can control him. Oh, yeah, that's pretty interesting. Now that makes me think of, I gotta say it, but that really makes me think of a lot of people that I come across on like the various Chan sites that we see. Just the whole pity party thing, and I'm so depressed, and I got this problem, like boo hoo, why me? And I'm not saying that's a bad, because I don't really completely agree with this point that's made. I don't think people are always trying to use their misfortune to sort of like, get over or control. But I think some people just really are unfortunate and depressed, and they just want to share those feelings, but I think that he does kind of shed light on how you can take advantage of other people's sympathy when you constantly express and talk about how sad you are, and how unfortunate your situation is, because nobody's gonna want to, like, well, not nobody, but decent people are not gonna want to press your buttons and make things any worse. They're gonna try to coddle you or be sympathetic or try to offer you advice. I mean, I see it so many times, because I've been going on the ADV board more often, where people ask for advice. And you see a lot of guys, like, they ask for advice about maybe how to get a girlfriend or how to stop procrastination and whatnot. And, people would give them advice after advice and this and that. And then they don't budge. Like, they don't really absorb it. They just always question it and try to like shoot it down. And sometimes, I don't really blame them, because, sometimes some advice is just kind of, not really good. But yeah. And I like that last part. The baby rules over the adults with his weakness. And it's because of this weakness that no one can control him. Oh. And I hate to say it. I hate to say it, but that kind of reminds me of, just for example, what I see with certain minority groups. Like with black people, it's like if you criticize the black community, black on black crime rates and stuff like that, oh, you're a racist. What are you talking about? You just hate black people, or if you criticize like this whole like transgender movement, then it's like you're a homophobe, or you're a bigot. And it's like, it kind of reminds me of what he's saying, where it's like minority groups are kind of treated like the babies of our society, and no one can hurt them. And so they're kind of just free to kind of do as they please and kind of push and push and push. Like I think of how now you got like the transgenders who are like in like playing sports and shit. Like I saw the little documentary where it's like the girl, like the biological girls were mad because the trans girls were coming and just dominating all the sports and shit. And that's just how far shit gets when you can't criticize certain groups and set boundaries and shit. And I can definitely see that in our society, where minority groups are kind of empowered because you're not allowed to criticize them without being demonized. Next page. Oh, let me make sure this damn thing is still recording. This shit been fucking with me lately. No, okay. Ooh. Okay, sorry if the audio sounds a bit different. I switched recording devices from Adobe CX6 to FL Studio. It's like if I record in Adobe 1.5, then it might just shut off abruptly. If I record it in CX6, then the audio might distort. FL Studio is the most stable, but it might sound a little bit different, but it'll be all right. Okay, now continuing with the book. Well, excerpts from the book. Okay, Youth says, yes, so true. And the philosopher, and the ones who get tripped up in the interpersonal relationships at this stage are the people referred to as NEETs. A young person not in education, employment, or training, or shut-ins, a person confined indoors. Youth, huh? Wait a minute, are you saying that they don't try to work simply because they want to avoid the interpersonal relationships they are associated with work? Not that they don't want to work or that they're refusing to do manual labor? Putting aside the question of whether or not they are conscious of it themselves, interpersonal relationships are at the core. For example, a man sends out a resume to find work and gets interviews, only to be rejected by one company after another. It hurts his pride. Ooh, now this was probably my favorite passage from the book because it was so spot on. Now, I've been in NEAT for a long time, but I've had opportunities to work here and there, for neighbors. Like I cut, there's a lady who lives across the street from me. I cut her lawn for like $20. There's a guy from my mom's church. I've done his yard. It made like $40 each time. Like I've done his yard like 3 times. And bruh, when I get those type of jobs, like when I get those gigs or opportunities, like I work my ass off. I don't fucking play, bro. And you guys already know with the music and all that, like I have it within me to just sit the fuck down and do some type of work, whether it's manual labor or creative work. So it's not that I can't work. And even thinking about it now, I wouldn't even mind having a job. Like if somebody came to me tomorrow, like, yo, here's a job. Come on. I would at least give it a shot. And I filled out job applications. I even had an interview or 2. But that's what's always discouraged me from getting a job. The whole process of getting the job. It's not the job I'm afraid of. Like I'm beyond that shit. It's the process. And that's really the same reason why, like, I just can't deal with girls. That's the same reason why I can't get into dating, because it's that same sort of process of you having to approach them first and then having to show off and show your worth, and then they're evaluating you and judging you to see if you're worthy. And it's just, it really is kind of a pride thing. But it's just like, who really wants to be bothered with that? I don't even think it's just pride. It's just like it just doesn't feel good. It just doesn't feel good. Like just trying to. It's hard to explain. It doesn't feel good trying to force somebody to like you. I never liked that. Like I've never been the type of guy to go out of my way to try to get other people to like me. And I think that's part of the reason why I have so much trouble. Like why I can't get into dating and why I can't get a job. It's that process. It's just the process of having to get in the door. If I just had it, then it wouldn't be that bad. But it's that it's getting through the gate, man. That's always been the issue with me. And that's why I love that passage so much. It's not the job. It's not the field of work for me. But I gotta say, there are certain jobs like fast food, retail, like being a cashier or something. Now those type of jobs really scare me, because then you're dealing with people regularly. Fast food more so than retail, because fast food is like it's so hectic and fast sometimes, and you're directly responsible for the product. Like you're making the product right there. Well, maybe you're not the cook, maybe you're the cashier or whatever, but like it seems like you're more responsible for the product. Whereas at a retail store, you just have these mass produced objects and foods that are already kind of prepackaged and ready to go, and usually people don't, they'll buy it and they're getting what they want to buy. You do have returns every now and then, but with food, you might fuck up the order, like put too many onions out there, or they ask for no onions, or the fries are burnt. Like it's way more opportunities to fuck up and having to deal with customers. And, I think when it comes to jobs, those are the 2 things that deter me the most. The whole application interview process, but also the having to do customer service and dealing with strange people. You're gonna get some crazy. Man, I went to the store the other day, and this dude just walked in there and he was just yelling like just like this dude was talking like he escaped from a mental facility, bruh. It was like this old guy with a baseball bat, and he was just standing there at the fucking entrance of the store, just yelling at people, like just yelling stuff that didn't make any sense. It sounded like, but that's what I'm saying. It's that weird shit that come with customer service, man. Like just nasty customers and weirdos and shit. But yeah, starts to wonder what the purpose in working is if he has to go through such things. Or he makes a big mistake at work. The company is going to lose a huge sum of money because of him, feeling utterly hopeless, as if he plunged into darkness. He can't bear the thought of coming into work the following day. None of these are examples of the work itself becoming disagreeable. What is disagreeable is being criticized or rebuked by others through the work, getting labeled as having no ability, or being incompetent or unsuited to the work, and hurting the dignity of one's irreplaceable self. In other words, everything is an interpersonal relationship issue. And they basically just talking about exactly what I just said, man. Like having to deal with customers and making mistakes, and now you're held accountable. I think that's probably one of my biggest fears as far as like joining the workforce. It's not, dude, I would work my fingers to the bone. Like I've done so much housework and yard work, and I know I have it in me to and then, God, some of the crazy shit I do, man, like running 5Ks regularly and, doing like hundreds of push-ups a day. And like, I know I got it in me to do like at least manual labor, and then the creative stuff. It take hours to finish some of these songs, man. Like, I know I got it in me to work. It's having to deal with other people, having to gain the approval of someone else to work at their place of business, and then having to deal with the customers. Like that's always been what deterred me from working the most. That's why I love that passage, because he really hit the nail on the head. Now, I'm sure some people just don't want to work. I'm sure some needs are just fucking lazy. But for me, it's always been more about, going through the whole process of getting the job, the applications, and all that shit. Okay. Now, this is a good one. All right. The youth says, I'm your irreplaceable friend? No, I won't think anything about that right now. Let's just keep going. What about the last one, the task of love? Philosopher, think of it as divided into two stages. 1, what are known as love relationships. Oh, excuse me, my eyes are dry as fuck. And 2, relationships with family, in particular parent-child relationships. We have discussed work and friendship, but of the 3 tasks, most likely it is the task of love that is the most difficult. When a friend relationship has turned into love, speech and conduct that were permitted between friends may no longer be permitted the moment they become lovers. Specifically, that would mean not permitting socializing with friends of the opposite sex, and in some cases, just speaking on the telephone to someone of the opposite sex is enough to arouse jealousy. The distance is that close and the relationship that deep. Yes, I suppose it can't be helped, says the youth. Philosopher, but Adler does not accept restricting one's partner. If the person seems to be happy, one can frankly celebrate that condition. That is love. Relationships in which people restrict each other eventually fall apart. Youth, wait, that's an argument that can only lead to affirming infidelity, because if one's partner were happily having an affair, you're saying that one should celebrate even that. Philosopher, no, I am not affirming someone having an affair. Think about it this way. The kind of relationship that feels somehow oppressive and strained when two people are together cannot be called love, even if there is passion. When one Whenever I am with this person, I can behave very freely. One can really feel love. One can be in a calm and quite natural state without having feelings of inferiority or being beset with the need to flaunt one's superiority. That is what real love is like. Restriction, on the other hand, is a manifestation of the mindset of attempting to control one's partner, and also an idea founded on a sense of distrust. Being in the same space with someone who distrusts you isn't a natural situation that one can put up with, is it? As Adler says, if two people want to live together on good terms, they must treat each other as equal personalities. Youth. Okay, philosopher. However, in love relationships and marital relationships, there is the option of separating. So even a husband and wife who have been together for many years can separate if continuing the relationship becomes distressful. In a parent-child relationship, however, in principle, this cannot be done. If romantic love is a relationship connected by a red string, then the relationship between parents and children is bound in rigid chains. This was a good ass book. I really like that part, because even though I'm a virgin, HHKV, single, whatever, I sometimes speculate what it would be like to be in a relationship. And as I've grown and learned more about dating and sex through just books and research, red pill, black pill, dating coaches, all that, just always looking into female nature and all this shit, and I've really realized, man, it like, as counterproductive as it sounds, a big part of being in a relationship is just not giving a fuck. That's a big part of it, is just like, when you see these relationships where it's like the girl is like, oh, let me see your phone. Let me go through your phone. Or the guy is like, oh, you need to be home by a certain time, or I don't want you to dress this way when you go out. And, when I see these relationships where the people are just constantly trying to control what each other are doing, what I immediately realize is that they care way too much. It's like, it becomes... It is not healthy. Like, that shit, to me, in my perspective, like, it does not look healthy at all. Like, when it gets to the point where you're going through each other's phones and messages, and that's not trust. Like, that's just showing how much you don't trust the other person. That's really all that is. And I feel like by doing those type of things, you're just facilitating more distrust and more unease and more discomfort. And I feel like, honestly, the way I would approach a relationship, man, is like, I would just trust the other person. Like, just, now, don't get me wrong. Like, not saying, like, to be honest, just naturally, I'm going to assume that I'm probably going to get cheated on. That's the way I am. I'm going to assume that, because that's a very real reality. I'm not going to delude myself into thinking like it's some Disneyland fairy tale forever after fucking whatever. Like, I know this shit could end. I know she could cheat. And I'm just always keep that in the back of my mind, but I'm not going to let it drive me to the point where I'm fucking paranoid and stealing her phone and going through it, or, worrying about who she's hanging out with and shit like that. She going to cheat. If I find out, I'll break up. But it's just, I just ain't got time for that shit. I just ain't got time for all that worrying. If the relationship work out, it do. If it don't, it don't. That's really will be my attitude. And I think when it gets to that point where it's just a lot of distrust and sneaky shit and trying to, oh, what you doing? Where you at? I think that's when it's no longer healthy. And that's a sign of just, to me, I think you really can just care too much in a relationship. Like, you care that much about possibly getting cheated on or not having this person to yourself that you drive yourself nuts trying to make sure that you do have this person to yourself. That doesn't sound like fun at all, and I would want no parts of that. That's why I like this part of the book, because that's always been something that I've been thinking. Like, if I ever get into a relationship, Do not be one of those guys. Do not be one of those paranoid guys. And don't tolerate paranoia from the girl. Like, I'm not about to give you my fucking phone, bitch. Like, you got your phone, I got my shit. Like, the only reason you would go through my phone is because you don't trust me. Like, let's not even start that bullshit. If I'm gonna cheat, I'm gonna cheat. If you're gonna cheat, you're gonna cheat. We find out, then it's over. Like, it's really what it's gonna be. I ain't doing all that crazy shit. Okay, here's another good one. You are not living to satisfy other people's expectations, and neither am I. It is not necessary to satisfy other people's expectations, says the philosopher. Youth, that is such a self-serving argument. Are you saying one should think only about oneself and live self-righteously? Philosopher, in the teachings of Judaism, one finds a view that goes something like this. If you are not living your life for yourself, then who is going to live it for you? You are living only your own life. When it comes to who you are living it for, of course, it's you. And then if you are not living your life for yourself, who could there be to live it instead of you? Ultimately, we live thinking about I. There is no reason that we must not think that way. Youth, so you are afflicted by the poison of nihilism after all. You say that ultimately we live thinking about I and that's okay. What a wretched way of thinking. Philosopher, it is not nihilism at all. Rather, it's the opposite. When one seeks recognition from others and concerns oneself only with how one is judged by others, in the end, one is living other people's lives. Youth, what does that mean? Philosopher, wishing so hard to be recognized will lead to a life of following expectations held by other people who want you to be this kind of person. In other words, you throw away who you really are. This part reminds me of something I heard Floyd Mayweather say a couple years ago, and I never forgot it because it made perfect sense. And he said, I'm gonna put me first because nobody else is gonna do it. And I love that because it's so true. It's so, people always talk about being selfish and all of that, but when you really think about it, who is going to prioritize you? Who is going to prioritize you, A9? Who is going to prioritize Chad Marco? That is, you gotta, I mean, really, like, who is gonna put you number one above everybody else? Probably your mama. Your mama probably the only one. Moms are special because they're probably the only one. Sometimes dad, but then dads are usually about, themselves and, their careers or passions or whatever. But moms are really special because they're usually the one that I can't say they'll put their children above everything. But generally speaking, man, it's really up to you to prioritize yourself, because it's very few people in this world who are going to do it for you. It's very few people who wake up and you're the first thing on their mind. And that's why I feel like it's good to have a healthy amount of selfishness. So I don't think selfishness is a bad thing, because somebody has to put the self first. If you don't put the self first, how can you help other people? That's how I look at it. I put myself first so I can be the best that I can be so that I can help other people. Like, it's not about being, like me. Like, I want it all. It's about, being as awesome and powerful as I can be so that not only I can help myself and enjoy my life, but I can help others do the same. And yeah, that's why I love this little part of it. But then on top of that, I think about this story I read in a book while I was in school a long time ago, and it was a story about, I think it was a guy. He had a donkey beside him, and he had like a huge load, like a bunch of stuff that he was carrying. And then some people saw him and said, "Oh, he has that donkey. Why is he carrying the load on his back?" So he hears him and he puts the load on the donkey's back. Then he goes by some other people and they say, "Oh, that poor donkey, that man is so lazy." And so hold on. How does shit go? It was, I fucked the story up. But long story short, like, the guy ends up changing how he's moving around based on what he hears people saying, and he ends up falling off of a bridge because he overloaded the donkey. And the moral of the story is that if you try to please everyone, you will please no one. And so at the end of the day, you might as well do what you want to do because you'll never please everybody. You would never make everybody happy. Like, I'm telling you, man, like every successful person in the world, every successful person I see, like I can find tons of criticisms of them, no matter how awesome they are. I mean, you name them: Elon Musk, 50 Cent, David Goggins, Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson, anybody, any great figure in our society, from sportsmen to philosophers, scientists, politicians, artists. There is a large group of people who are criticizing everything that they do in a negative light. So it's like you'll never escape it. So if you're doing everything you can to make sure that you're pleasing everybody, it'll never work. Because if you go left, they'll say you should have went right. If you go right, they'll say you should have went left. If you go up, you should have went down. You went diagonal, you ought to kill yourself. So it's like you might as well, at the end of the day, you know, as nihilistic and cliche as it sounds, you gotta do what you want to do, man. You gotta follow your heart. Okay, now I've got more from this book. It was a really good book, but I'm gonna call it there for now. I'm gonna go over the second half of my favorite parts of that book in the next episode during book time. But that's all we're gonna do for now. I don't want to put you guys to sleep with a bunch of boring reading books. Nah, but I'm sure some of you guys are intellectual, and I may not seem like it, but I really do enjoy a good book. So if you guys are into reading and know any good books I can check out, then definitely let me know. But for now, we're gonna move on to the next original content. Now, this isn't a song. This is just a kind of giving a shout out to one of our original content creators for R9K. Hold on, let me pull him up real quick. Let's see here. Yeah, so this is a YouTube channel where I guess this guy and his friends, they do like little short films. The YouTube channel is called Patchwork Productions. And he posted one of his videos in a creative thread, and I just wanted to mention it because I like this idea of doing like short films. I think this is something that I want to do now. Like, he made like it's a little very, 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 very cheesy and poorly produced, like, semi horror comedy skit thing. But I like the idea of it, like just short, like short films, short movies. Like, I want to do something like that. Like, that sounds really awesome. That's why I wanted to bring him up, because I think that's an awesome idea. Like, I'm doing music and podcasts and all that, anime reviews, but it's so much more that you can do with your creativity. And I didn't think much about like actual like film and skits and or maybe even a movie or something like that. Like, I just feel like that's definitely something I want to look into. Like, maybe start off small with like a short film, or really I need to start doing like music videos and stuff. So that's why I wanted to bring him up, because I thought it was an interesting thing to have someone actually making like little short little cute little videos like that. So check out Cabin and Patchwork Productions work on his YouTube channel. We've got awesome people on R9K, don't we? Okay. Now, what's the next segment? Oh, great. Now, next is Chad Marco investigates the digital succubus. Stay tuned. Okay, so it's time for another episode of. Oh, hold on. Excuse me there. Okay, so it's time for another episode of Chad Marco Investigates. This week I investigate the digital Succubus, a very powerful demon that has taken over the web, and I've written a nice little piece on this bitch. So let's get right to it now. I distinctly remember being around the age of 17 or 18 around the time I began to realize the power level gap between men and women when it came to dating and sex. I had this vivid image in my head of a beautiful young woman standing upon the balcony of her 2-story home looking down at a crowd of men who were doing everything from tossing gifts up towards her, declaring their undying affection for her, and even fighting among themselves just to get a little closer to what they perceived to be a goddess-like figure. And there I was, standing away from the crowd, watching in bewilderment as these men danced around like monkeys, hoping to receive even a breadcrumb of attention from this woman. I don't know if it was pride, arrogance, or just self-respect, but I knew I couldn't subject myself to this kind of humiliation. I mean, what makes her so special that I have to compete with all these other men just to have her? Now that I think about it, this scene I conjured in my head reminds me a lot of the fox and the grapes. With me being the fox, the men, the unclimbable tree, the woman, the grapes. But instead of devaluing the grapes, I simply wondered if there was something else. Another fruit I could pursue that would be easier to obtain, if not more delicious. I wish I could say that this was the beginning of an amazing quest to find inner happiness without sex or women. The first steps upon the path of MGTOW before it was even a thing. But life isn't nearly so theatrical. The truth is, I was already well on my way without even realizing it. I just needed to look behind me, to all those moments in my life where I found a reason to laugh or experience something enjoyable, and memories that I could cherish for the rest of my life. These moments are very important because they prove one thing: happiness and joy is possible with what I already have available to me. If you think about it, everything we do is simply a means to an end to receive hits of the happiness drug, serotonin or dopamine, whatever you want to call it. As simple as it sounds, this realization was very empowering for me. It let me know that not only was happiness within my own control, but there was also multiple ways to achieve it. Long story short, this gave me the perfect excuse to not join those other guys in the endless battle for vagina. Assuming you, the listener, are well versed in black and red pill rhetoric, you should understand all the 1,000,001 reasons this battle can be a dreadful thing to endure. Now, what does all this have to do with a digital succubus? Well, this is basically where I fucked up. I took pride in disregarding women and finding happiness my own way. It was like transcending the need to eat or breathe, but I didn't take full advantage of my realization because I fell into another trap of lust: pornography. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a believer in sex alternatives. I look forward to the day when sex bots will be the norm and liberate men from the current gatekeepers of sex. But with unlimited access to digital sex and no one to tell me no or make me wait, the idea that moderation might be needed came all too late. I look back on all these years of indulging in pornography, all the semen spilled, all those crusty socks, all those images downloaded, deleted, and downloaded again. And while it was fun for my penis, all in all, I never derived much lasting value out of it. Sure, I love the fact that I was able to take a peek into the world of sex and all its variations. Every fetish, kink, position, orientation, tag, genre were just a click away and taught me a little bit more about the pleasures of the flesh and about myself. But to be quite honest, at this point in my life, a point where I'm far more aware of what's important to me, I know my time would have been better spent even if it was just playing more video games or watching good movies. In a lot of ways, masturbating to porn is like watching the same few movies over and over again, just remixed a little. A little dialogue, she sucks a dick, she gets fucked, then swallows cum. Which is why I prefer hentai doujins. At least there is more of an attempt at a story. But even those are as predictable as a B-horror movie plot, because in the end, they all lose to cock. The biggest piece of evidence proving the shallowness of porn in dojins is really how little there is to say about the average pornographic work. A new video game comes out and you will have endless threads across the web filled with unique perspectives detailing their experience with the product and long back and forth discussions between the players that continue well after its release. But the average porno doesn't even justify a review the length of a paragraph, other than legendary flicks like Mei Lei's facial abuse scene, of course. And in defense of the boys orbiting females for even the slightest chance of sniffing her farts, should victory be obtained, they will be rewarded with the experiences that could range from life-destroying to indescribable fulfillment and bliss. With porn, you get neither. It won't break your heart, cost you a penny, or cheat on you, but it certainly won't create positive memories and experiences that could compare to the real deal. Now, I'm sure you've heard of Jordan Peterson, surrogate dad to many beta males across the globe. Well, he once said something about pornography that even a degenerate like myself had to agree with. Now, I'm paraphrasing here, but he said something like, masturbating to porn isn't something that would make you feel good about yourself after completion. I'm sure I fucked up his words, but that was the gist of it. Now, I've had some great faps, refreshing even, but for the most part, masturbating would leave me feeling empty and wishing I had done something else. Anything else. And being a dicklet like myself, I can't help but feel inferior to the male talent who typically have dicks 3 times as big as my own. It's like an amateur fighter witnessing a pro, except no amount of hard work will ever close the skill gap. Penis size insecurities aside, the digital succubus comes in many different forms, from greedy cam whores to innocent feminines attracting betas like moth to a flame. It's important to determine all the ways in which women and sex can distract you from more important pursuits. And with the rise in popularity of traps and transsexuals, the digital incubus must also be avoided. Alas, this message doesn't have an awesome punchline or interesting conclusion. It is simply a warning to those of us who thought we were safe from the pull of gravity coming off of the planet called woman that causes men to drift and waste away in orbit. Don't allow yourself to become too lost in the charms of the other, more easily accessible woman, the digital succubus, who drains the life and potential from the naive and lustful. Chad Marco, out. Oh shit, I put up the wrong fucking thing. What the hell is this? Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed that Chad Marco Investigates. It was a very needed segment since a lot of us have gotten pulled into the digital succubus's grip, death grip. But yes, next we will have a little bit of original content from, what's this guy's name? I bet it's a weird one. From Cut Rate Future. And after that, I'll do a thread of the day. Be right back.
Came to such a slummy neighborhood alone.
I am alone. I don't need any comrades. They're not worth it.
Oh, girlfriend. Oh boy. Did you guys hear that Cowboy Bebop sample that was in that last beat? Yeah, I peeped that because I just watched Cowboy Bebop, so I was like, wait a minute, what? Isn't that an anime? That's Cowboy Bebop. I need to put more anime samples in my shit. Like, not just like sampling the songs, but like audio. Oh yeah. In fact, I got a nice, oh man, I'm not gonna talk about it here. I'm gonna wait. Just wait. Surprise them. It's gonna be funny. But yeah, now it's time for the thread of the day. I got a good one too. Okay. Oh, let me adjust the mic a little bit. It's gonna get a little bumpy. It's gonna get a little loud. Excuse me. Okay. Now, this was a funny ass thread. Okay. So this thread was basically this guy trying to insinuate that there are beautiful women out there who are just lonely and just waiting for guys to hit on them, but nobody will hit on them because everyone's just too intimidated by their beautiful good looks. Oh man, this thread made for a lot of laughs, I swear, man. But let's get right into it. So the OP says, there are multitudes of beautiful women out there who are single and lonely because men either assume they don't have a shot in hell or that the women already have boyfriends. How about you robots man up and win big time? And right off the gate, like the first guy is like, God, I so wish that this were true. And then the second guy is like, no, there aren't. Laugh out loud. Oh man, but you know the pessimistic robots, like they're not buying this bullshit. But let's dig further into this lolzy thread. Okay, now this guy says, you assume I'm even at the level of a normal man in appearance. I'd have to shower every day, shampoo and lotion gel hair every day, brush teeth every day, floss every day, cologne every day, deodorant every day, lotion every day, smile every day, be happy every day, walking with good posture every day, look deeply into their eyes like Ted Bundy every day, love them as much as I love myself every day. And for what? Just to get wet? Too much work and not enough benefit for the work done. And then somebody replied, I have to do actions that every functional human being does. Please pity me. Absolute state of needs. And generally I agree with that guy's with his sentiment about just it all being too much work, but he literally just listed like everyday shit, like shower, brush teeth, floss, deodorant, like smile. Like that's like everyday shit. Like at least list like the bullshit, like having to deal with like shit tests and keeping other guys away from her and having to keep her entertained and all that shit. Like that's the bullshit. He listed just the regular like human being stuff. But this guy, he might have been like very far gone, like one shower a week type of neat. Hey, I ain't knocking your game, but I like to stay clean. Okay, this guy says, multitudes of fat, ugly, feminist women out there who are single and lonely. Now get the fuck out with your bullshit. The average attractive girls have too many options. I mean, I'd even say the fat, ugly feminists, they probably got a lot of options too. I mean, man, I've seen some shit, man. I've seen, the fucking dating profiles of fat, ugly women with, disgusting personalities, or at least like those sort of set up accounts where incels try to gather that data on just how desirable even the women you would think are undesirable really are. And oftentimes, man, it's just like I talked about earlier, man, with all the beta males sending money to that e-thought and buying her bathwater, dude. Like the struggle is fucking real for guys, man. Standards are at an all-time low. Women are winning hard, even the fat, ugly, feminist women. But yeah, the average attractive girls have too many options. I mean, even the cute ugly girls. I love cute ugly girls. Even the cute ugly girls probably got like at least about 10 dudes chasing after them hard. So okay, now this one was funny. The guy said, yeah, maybe before social media and black men. Yeah, but I think there's a stereotype that black guys, like, we're really into like hitting on, hollering at girls, but I don't know. I mean, I know there was this one guy that I used to buy weed from, and we would walk around town sometimes, and when I swear, this is a guy, he would hit on every single girl. I am not playing. Like, if she was like any girl that was like alone, like just walking around, of course not like her boyfriend or anything like that, but he would holler at every single girl. And there are a lot of guys like that who just don't give a fuck. But I wouldn't say it's a black thing. I'm sure there are probably some Italian guys out there and some Spanish guys. I don't know about Asian guys, but you know, it's probably, I wouldn't say it's a racial thing, but I know I've seen it. I've definitely seen like the fucking holler monsters, the guys who just holler at everything. So and then of course you got social media. It's like, even if you are a shy, introverted woman, I mean, if you just you're a clicks away from just having options out the ass, you know, so there's really no excuse. Okay, this guy said, only true for the absolute top tier of girls. I don't like to use number ratings, but 810s aren't hot enough to be intimidating to all guys. Cute doesn't cut it. Hot doesn't cut it. They need to be so attractive that they intimidate all men, even the Giga Chads. That being said, one of my friends got a super hot Stacy girlfriend. He's a troglodyte looking motherfucker, but supremely confident. Oh, that old word, confident. Don't we hate that? But shit, speak for yourself. I think like a lot of, I do think that girls who aren't even necessarily a 10 might be very intimidating to a lot of guys. I mean, because I think the value of pussy is just so inflated, man, that it's crazy out here, man. Because I feel the only time I don't feel intimidated by a girl is like she gotta be like in the range of like cute ugly, like a cute ugly girl or ugly cute girl. Like those are the only ones I don't feel intimidated by, and she's gotta be shorter than me. That's another thing. But that's me. Like, I'm low tier, so you know, I'm probably not the best example, but I don't know. I feel like guys probably are intimidated by even average. I think a lot of guys are probably intimidated even by average girls, because just how many options they have, and you know, if you're black pill, red pill, you know what you're dealing with if you try to approach a girl. Like you know, if she's even halfway decent looking, she's probably got a lot of other options. So unless you're just really into playing the field, I think a lot of guys are gonna be intimidated. Okay, this guy says, have you guys ever actually encountered a girl who was ostracized due to being too beautiful or too perfect? It always comes up in anime, but I've always thought it was just that, a myth. And yeah, but I don't get out much. I don't have a life, but certainly, I guess when I was in school or when I do go out, I don't see never see no shit like that. Like some beautiful girl, you see beautiful women alone, but that's usually like going somewhere. Like, she's only alone because she's going, to the store or to the vegetable aisle or some shit like that. She's not like alone, like lonely. Yeah, man, I think there really is just like some movie shit. You know how they would do like in the old teen movies, like they would show the girl and she's supposed to be shy and introverted and and quiet, not like the other girls, but you take her glasses off and take her hair out the ponytail, she's a fucking model. So I think that sort of thing is just fake, man, because naturally, being so beautiful, people are going to be attracted to you, men and women, and people are going to be nicer to you. And I don't see it. Like, I just don't see it. I can see like an attractive guy being introverted and alone, but not a woman. I don't know. Let me know. I don't know. This guy says, OP pick is a fantasy. Reality is that girl is approached by no less than 20 guys every night, most of whom are at varying stages of inebriation. Now, I wouldn't say 20 guys every night, unless he's actually talking about like the club environment in which, that the picture portrays. But yeah, girls are just regularly hit on, I'm sure, throughout their lives, whether they're at work or at school or going to the grocery store, because men are taught that we must approach, we must prove ourselves to the female race and such. So yeah, that's why it's such a hard thing to believe. Like, even if she is beautiful, somebody's gonna holler at her. It's either gonna be some bummy ass black guy or some Giga Chad. I don't know, man, but I definitely think that whole idea of the beautiful woman that's just too intimidating to guys. But then I think of, there was that whole controversy a couple months ago with Steph Curry and his wife, and she was talking about how she's jealous that guys don't try to hit on her. And it's like what? It's like, do you not understand that your husband is Steph Curry? Like, because it's not that she's an ugly. It's not that she's an ugly girl. I mean, she's right in the range of being attractive enough that a lot of guys would holler at her if they saw her on the street or something like that. But it's the fact that your husband is fucking Steph Curry, a millionaire basketball playing superstar. It's like now that's intimidation. That's fucking intimidation. You want to talk about intimidation? I think that's really, looks might intimidate lesser men, but nothing will intimidate men like you having a legitimate catch of a boyfriend, whether he's just obviously some super MMA tough guy, loaded with a nice car, big dick. I don't know, man. Like, if he's obviously just in a top tier of men, then I think that'll be. But then that's a totally different situation. That's like, you in a relationship, so none of that should matter anyway. But like I said, man, this was just a funny ass thread to me, because for the most part, people were just kind of tearing the whole thing apart. Like, just, no, it's bullshit. Fuck this, man. You don't know what you're talking about. But, it is one of those things that I kind of wish was true. I kind of wish that shit was true. I kind of wish it was like, I kind of wish there were beautiful women out there that were just available and just lonely and just, everybody's just so intimidated by my beauty. I haven't had a boyfriend in 2 years. I haven't had sex in years. But we all know, maybe before social media, maybe before the invention of black men, but not now, man. Great thread, though. Okay, now I know you guys are gonna miss me, but it's about time for me to get the fuck out of here. But before that, I always gotta answer or respond to you guys' comments. I'm tired as hell. Oh man, I cannot wait to go to sleep tonight. But we gotta finish this up. Okay, let's get right into it. Okay. Oh, let me adjust the mic again so I can spare with me for a second. Okay. Oh, hold on, a little bit more to the left. Okay. Now, Punish Super Dragon says the Bruce Lee movie you are referencing is called Game of Death, and the man is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, a famous basketball player, also a student of Bruce Lee. He appears in the movie as a blind man who is a martial arts master. Sometimes I like to mute the audio from the fight scene and play this song in the background with a little manipulation. The video syncs up pretty well with it, LOL. That was to the Cowboy Bebop review. I was talking about the episode 2 where there's the big tall guy and the big tall black guy, and he's fighting with Spike. The fight they didn't fucking show, but I couldn't remember the Bruce Lee movie that it had reminded me of, and he brought it up. It was the Game of Death. Now I remember. Yeah, that was the one when they went in where it was like it was like this big building, and they had levels, and each level had like a different martial arts master that they had to defeat. That was a great. Damn, I'm probably about to download that shit tonight. But thanks for the comment, Punish Super Dragon. Lolly Desune says slop 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 slop. You know, man, I always see those threads on 4chan where it's the picture of the dog and then it just slop 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 slop, and it's not the sound that bothers me. You know what fucking bothers me about that shit is when Fender does it, he lifts his head up and then he moves his head around and he just has water dripping all out of his fucking mouth. Because usually at night, I let Fender sleep in my room and I keep a little a little bowl of water on the side just in case he gets thirsty. And so he'll slop, 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 and then he'll like move away from the bowl and just have water just falling all out of his fucking mouth and just leave fucking driplets all over the place. That's what I hated about this shit. God damn. But I just thought it'd be funny to catch him while he was slopping. But yeah, thanks, Lali Desune. John Go said, I know I'm late, but hearing you talk about video games is so comfy and nostalgic. Please do more. Oh, don't you worry. I'm thinking about doing because you know how I do like the anime review? I'm thinking about doing a video game review too. I think the first episode is going to be Persona 5. I already have like half of it recorded, but that's going to be a long review because I'm nerding out heavy. So I'm about to record the second half of the Persona review, and that'll probably be the first episode of like my actual like video games review. But thanks for the comment, John Go. Lothar says, when's the R9K Part 2 album coming out? That little teaser you had on the Botcast was great, man. Need me some more. You are going to be surprised this week. I'm not dropping the whole album this week, but this week there's going to be like well, you'll see. Like this week, just stay tuned to my channel. There are going to be a couple nice tracks for you guys, guaranteed. But thanks for the comment, Lothar. Oh shit, I skipped one. Hold on. This is a long one. This is to the Cowboy Bebop anime review. Hood Spawn says, I think that the episodic nature of their adventures is because of their current position in their life and their ages. None of them are teenage anime schoolgirls. Spike's an ex-member of that crazy group that's haunted by his past that he ultimately returns to in the end. Faye is just constantly lost in this world that no longer is hers and constantly moving because of her predicament. And Jet's just trying to make ends meet at the end of the day, regardless of his contemporaries. Which is why Spike and Faye dip whenever. Ed is still young, so she's straightforward and she's too innocent for all of their drama. You're going to carry that weight means that no matter what every episodic adventure is, Seeing a woman dying in a spaceship, having to tell a girl that can finally see that her brother died, trying to get her sight back, a girl wanting to be reunited with her father and your old partner work buddy thing, but ultimately never being able to and knowing he's forever gone, or some weird cowboy dude that no one can stop. Things will never stop and life will continue, and you'll still be traveling the galaxy with no clear purpose and your past demons haunting you, and all of everything that you've seen and everyone you met and everyone that died. You're an adult with a life that's completely different and removed from everything going on, and every day with every adventure is just par for the course of what you are. A retired detective cop, a woman lost in time that lost everything at her teens, and an ex-gang member being haunted by what you think, what you feel you should have done. You're going to carry that weight. Sorry for the long wall of text, LOL. I just wanted to give my perspective on why I think that the episodic episodes is perfect and they couldn't have chose a better way to present the episodes. Plus, it made it more fun catching it on. It's pretty haunting, huh? Also, music's the best part. I worship the OST. Nice vid, mate. Thank you so much, Hus. But that was a long ass post, but I knew I had to read it. I like that critique of the episodic nature of Cowboy Bebop, though, because underneath it all, like all these random adventures and the things happening here and something's happening over there, and now it's a different person or a different crazy bounty or whatnot. There's always the past. Like that's always there. Like their baggage, their mistakes, you know, the people they left behind, the things they've done. It's always there. And I mentioned that in the review, like that's, even though it's episodic, there's still continuity because like in almost every episode, a bit more about that person, about the main cast is revealed, whether there's something from their past or, you know, just, you know, seeing how they react in certain situations, how they treat certain people, what they're capable of. All that is a part of, you know, where they come from and how that ended up making them who they are today. So that's really the only, well, the main source of continuity within Cowboy Bebop. Just learning more about the main cast themselves, not necessarily, you know, going from point A to point B, episode 1 and 2, and it's all being connected. It's more about just learning about the cast, which is cool in of itself. But yeah, thanks for that comment, Hood Spawn. Nightcore Jones says, please check out my Nightcore. Nightcore Jones. Blanco Boy Jones says, no. Gerald says, Nightcore is for fags. Well, Nightcore Jones, I'll check out your Nightcore right after I get me a little night snore. Wink, wink. I'm tired as hell. Man, something about recording these, like, I don't know what it is, but, and I don't know if other people who do podcasts experience this, but my throat gets like I don't know, like this soreness. And it's weird. Like I can talk all day, but once I'm talking up on this mic for a podcast, it's like something about my throat and it just gets sore and I want to lay down and go to sleep. Thanks for the comment, Jones. Kenny Lauderdale says, 1 hour and 8 minutes? Come on, man. That was on the Baki anime review. Now, just to kind of clear it up, like these anime reviews are not meant to be taken like super seriously. Like I'm fucking Eepert and Roper. Like it's not meant to be taken like super duper seriously or anything like that. Really, these reviews are more just me kind of hanging out with you guys talking about the anime. Don't look at it like it's like this, you know, like it's supposed to be like this 5-minute quick review where I highlight the main events and the main points and characters and give it a, you know, a score that was meticulously decided after hours of deliberation. Or no, like it's really just me just talking about what I like and didn't like about whatever anime I happen to watch. That's why it's so long, because it's just really just, like I said, it's more like a conversation. Like it's meant to be kind of viewed like sort of an anime podcast, like just kind of looking at it like it's just a long drawn out thing of me just talking about that particular anime. That's why it's so long. It's not meant to be taken like super serious or anything. Just, if you happen to be interested in that anime, or you just want to hear me talk or just hang out, that's what that's for. It's just for, like just a little extra content for people to enjoy. And hopefully, hopefully I can manage to actually sell you on the anime if you haven't watched it. And if you have watched it, then there's just always that camaraderie and that shared interest, and that maybe I felt the same way. Maybe we had the same favorite characters. Maybe we disagree on the soundtrack, or maybe we had maybe we cried over the same. I don't know. It's meant to just be more kind of a laid back, just talking about anime type of thing. It's not meant to be taken that seriously. So that's why they're so long. But thank you, Kenny Lauderdale. Tasco said, why the guy in the image look like Lil Pump? That was on the Man Eater beat. I don't know. That's actually a girl though. That's a screenshot from a movie called it's an old Italian horror movie called Anthropophagus. I think in America the American name is Grim Reaper, but that is one of my favorite bad horror movies, man. Like that, like the audio in the beginning of the girl talking, that's where I pulled it from, that movie. But it's a terrible movie. don't get me wrong, like it's literally like a bad movie, but it's one of those movies where like one of those horror movies where it's like it's so bad it's good. Like like that is like a real gem, man. Like I put it up there with like the original Evil Dead as far as like just how like bootleg it is, and that's my favorite horror movie to like put on right before I go to sleep. But yeah, you guys ought to check that movie out. It's pretty funny. Okay, and on the INFP song, John Doe says, "I'm glad I found you. I hope you get happy." Dude, I'm already happy. Now, I know I make a lot of feelsy songs and shit like that. But truth be told, like, that's just like, I have my fair share of feels. I've dealt with depression, suicidal thoughts, death filled with no girlfriend and all kinds of shit. But a lot of that is just me kind of regurgitating older feelings that I've already coped with and dealt with, things I've already kind of navigated through, but I can still kind of tap into that, It's kind of like, how gangster rappers, like a lot of them, they reach a point where they're no longer really in the streets. Like they're in mansions with like wives and kids, and they're talking all proper and shit, doing movies, but they still talk about killing motherfuckers like they were just on the block yesterday. That's kind of how my music is a little bit. Like a lot of my feelsy shit is just kind of like old feels that are kind of, that I've learned to deal with or cope with. I'm a lot happier now. I still have my issues and problems that I'm working through, but for the most part, I'm happy to be alive, and looking forward to just working through what issues I do have, the best way I can. But like I said, I'm not depressed or anything like that. Most days, I manage to have a good bit of fun. I'm having fun these days, I'll say that. But thanks for your concern and thanks for your comments. And that will be all for today's episode of the Original Content Movement Botcast, whatever the fuck I called it. I'm really tired if you haven't noticed. I can't wait to lay down. God damn. Oh man, but it's always nice hanging out with you guys. I don't know what I'm going to do for the next episode. Damn. I think, man, because I was just on R9K. Dude, you know how bad it is when you're doing something and you just stop to get on R9K. Like I recorded like the thread section of this podcast, then took a break to get on R9K, and then I did the comments. That's how bad it is. But I got on R9K and I saw that the R9K interviewer guy is back, and that's something that I want to incorporate into my podcast. I want to actually have like conversations with other robots and things like that. So if you guys are interested in that, like let's talk about it. Let's chop it up and figure out how we can get that thing done. But yeah, that's it for today, man. I enjoy being with you guys. I'm gonna get some much needed neat sleep, and I shall return soon. Chat Marco out. Love and peace. Fast and